What's going on, Mixed Reactions community? Welcome, and I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. I'm here with Casey and Justin. How's it going today, Casey?
Doing all right. Still recovering from a very heartbreaking game on Sunday. But other than that, I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, no, that was a tough one, and I'm definitely gonna let you cook on that. Justin, how's it going over there? I know it's
Uh,
been a whirlwind.
it's a whirlwind in more ways than one, but I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. It is what it is, man. Again, I'm I've seen what I need to see in terms of my team. I've seen what I need to see.
You saw what you needed to see 3 weeks ago. You
Yeah,
knew this team was trash.
yeah, I know, but it is what it is.
And we're gonna talk a lot about that. But before we talk about Commander or Patriots, Commanders, and Packers, Rams, I have a question for Casey. How the fuck did you lose? Man, I know we talked about it a lot in the group. That seems like a game where Eagles were just trying to give it away, and the Cowboys just gave it right back. I know there was like a couple of missed calls, so I'm gonna put
A
myself on
couple
mute
of
and I
missed
kind of
calls.
yeah,
There was a
it was
handful
a
of
few
missed
missed calls.
calls. There was a handful of missed calls. I'd say for
And it
sure.
seems about 90% of those missed calls went against the Dallas Cowboys. And it's just such an unfortunate event to have a game like that between arguably the two biggest rivals in the entire sport come down to officiating as a way to close out a game. Now, you can argue the last drive, the false start, followed by the delay of game, was the absolute drive killer. And I wouldn't even dispute that point if on the very following play, Dak Prescott didn't get hit in the head and they missed it and didn't call roughing the passer. Now, granted, there was a roughing the passer earlier in the drive, and maybe the NFL has changed their rules and I just missed it, and they're not allowed to call two roughing the passers on the same drive. However, I don't think that that's a new rule that I am unaware of. Now, this is a game where people are going to break it down to one simple thing, and they're only breaking it down to this one simple thing because the man wears a star on his helmet. What the media is going to break this game down into is, oh, Dak cannot win the big game. If anyone thinks Dak Prescott is the reason the Cowboys lost that game, they did not watch the same game that I watched, and maybe I need to get a new TV. Maybe I need to get my eyes checked. Maybe I'm crazy. That last one's probably a little accurate, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm talking about at this direct moment is Dak was 29 of 44 for 374 and three touchdowns. He outplayed Jalen Hurts. He made better plays in the clutch than Jalen Hurts. Aside from that last little fake spike, I wasn't a big fan of that. Wasted about 8 seconds off the drive. However, Dak showed up. Dallas had an 11-point deficit into the fourth quarter and got all the way down to the 6 yard line on that final drive with no timeouts, I might add. Obviously, the James Bradbury pass interference helped him out, followed by the rough on the passer. So it was a little bit ref assisted for them to get down there. However, those were blatant penalties that needed to be called. And gladly they were. But there were so many that were missed. The illegal hands to the face that was picked up on Michael Gallup. Don't typically ever see a flag gets picked up that's actually a flag. You can see clearly in the replay, Michael Gallup was hit directly in the chin. They threw the flag, had a little discussion, picked up the flag, of course. And then let's not even get into the Luke Schoonmaker play. Agreed, the review should have happened because he was short of the goal line. But what was missed is he was getting tackled before the ball got there. Let me ask you guys a little question here. Do you think there's a pass interference on that play called by the refs?
I think with the Schoonfield one, I think you can go either way. I mean, he did catch it, albeit he was getting
He was
manhandled.
get. It's not what I'm asking you, Justin. What I'm asking you is, was there a flag on that play? Yes or no? Like, did the refs throw the flag? Is what I'm asking you. The
No, but they
answer is
probably
no,
should
they
have.
did not.
They didn't,
And
but
they and they
you could have gone either way because he did eventually catch it.
they
But
absolutely should have thrown the flag. Absolutely should have thrown the flag. He was getting tackled before the ball got there. Is that pass interference, yes or no?
By the letter of the law, yes.
Boom. That's all that matters. By the letter of the law, that's pass interference. That flag should have been thrown, and it was not. Not to mention the absolutely horrendous pass interference that was called on Stephon Gilmore for a pass that was uncatchable over the head of A.J. Brown on the right sideline. Just an
That
absolutely
was ridiculous.
That
abysmal
was
day
stupid.
of officiating.
Stupid.
And my
Absolutely.
takeaway from that game, more than anything else, mark your calendars for December 10th. Barring injuries, if both teams are at full strength, when Philly comes back to Dallas, we're going to blow the doors off of them. My takeaway from that game, and this is unbiased, I can assure you this is unbiased. I've been unbiased. I picked Philly to win this game in our picks because I thought they were going to be the better team. I thought they were going to come away with the win. I was half right. They came away with that win. I don't think Philly's the better team. I think Dallas is far and away better than them now. I think something's clicked with Dallas's offense over that bye week. They have been sensational on offense. Dak is seeing everything in the field. I think when they come back to Dallas on December 10th, Dallas is going to blow the doors off of them. And let's not even mention the next 3 games that Philadelphia has. They have a rough schedule after their bye week. They come back from their bye week November 20th on a Monday night to go into Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. The following week, they got the Buffalo Bills. And the week after that, they got the 49ers. Then they got the Cowboys again. And then they got the Seahawks. I think that December 10th game is make or break for that division. The reason I say that, yes, Philly is 3 games ahead, 2.5 games ahead at the moment. However, Dallas's next 3 games, they have, you know who they have coming up this week? The Giants with their 3rd string quarterback. Then they got the Panthers, and then they have a Thanksgiving Day showdown against the Commanders.
That's 3-0 right there.
Is there any, if both teams, if obviously barring injury,
Philly would go 2-1 in that one. I honestly think the only one I think they're losing, honestly, out of those 3 is Kansas City. Buffalo is looking weak.
Buffalo is looking weak, but Buffalo also has the capability to hang 40 on anybody if Allen and Diggs are clicking.
If and that's the big if at this point right now.
And
but,
who knows with San Francisco? They've been a roller coaster all season.
Exactly. That's why I say Philly can easily go 2-1 in that. I don't think they're going to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. No, I don't see it happening.
I can see that happening. Now, also, but during that 3-game stretch where Dallas has the Giants, the Panthers, and the Commanders, all of them, that's 3-0 for Dallas, right?
That should, by all rights, it should be 3-0 for them.
And I'm not even just saying 3. I'm saying 3-0 dominating probably all 3 games heavily.
3-0 comfortable. I wouldn't say dominate necessarily, but 3-0 comfortably.
I think they beat the Giants this week by 21 plus, especially with a 3rd string quarterback.
Yeah, I will agree on that one.
And so I feel very comfortable where Dallas is at in the NFC right now. I don't think there's a clear-cut team better than them. They played that game down to the wire. They had multiple chances to win. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I think they're, going to go on to win the Super Bowl or anything right now. But as of right now, I think they should be considered one of the clear-cut favorites in the NFC.
I'll grant you that. I would also say that, again, this is something brought up in the group chat. Dallas had the ball 3 separate times on the 6-yard line in the red zone in the 4th quarter and only came away with 6 points. Granted, there were penalties to be called that were not. But you got
exactly, Justin. You explained why that happened right there.
I'm just saying.
You explained why that happened.
Even with the penalties, you got to put up 6s. You got to take the points or something.
I don't know about taking the points in that situation. There was 8 minutes left when that Schoonmaker play happened. They were down 11.
I'm talking the 11-point mark when they were fourth and goal. They decided not to. They decided to go for it.
Yeah, that's the Schoonmaker play.
Was the Schoonmaker play? I thought it was.
That's the Schoonmaker play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
my bad.
No, you're fine. There's nothing to be. It's not your bad on anything. It's just that's the Schoonmaker play. I don't think a field goal is necessarily the best call. The reason being is even if you don't convert on that fourth down, you leave Philly on their own 1 yard line. Yeah, so a lot can go wrong there. Obviously, we know what happened. They did the brotherly shove, and they didn't get a first down on that drive regardless. Dallas held them to 3 and out. But the point that I'm making is even with this loss, I feel more comfortable with Dallas than I was going into the game. I thought this game could have gotten ugly real quick. Think back to the first drive of the game for each team. Dallas went 3 and out. Philly went right down the field and put up 7. They did not flinch. Dallas went on to score 2 touchdowns in their next 2 possessions to take a 14-7 lead. Now, granted, I'll give Philly credit. They won the game.
But they did everything they could to lose it too.
Absolutely. I don't think Philly is the better team. I think they have a better record. Of course, that's evident. I did not come away thinking Philadelphia is the better team in that game. Not at all. And that's my spiel, fellas. That's my spiel on that game.
I think that's a fair take. I think Dallas looked much stronger than Philly did. Philly had some stretches where they looked pretty good, like we were saying, but Dallas looked like the better team on Sunday.
A majority of the game. They outgained Philadelphia by over 100 yards.
They outplayed Philly for the majority of the game, but they just got to put up the dub. That's the only thing.
Am I crazy for thinking that once they come back to Dallas, I think Dallas can beat them comfortably by 10?
I agree.
10. I think 10 is the ceiling on the point on the spread. I'd say.
Let's put it like this. I'll rephrase and see if you agree with this more. I don't think it will come down to the last play of the game.
That's fair. Yeah.
Dallas will probably be like -3 if I had to say, to be honest, going into that game, especially considering it's at home. But I think Dallas is going to win easily. And yeah, like there was obviously the blatant roughing the passer that they could have called, but I came away also thinking Philly or Dallas was the better team. But that just goes to show that anytime you leave the game in the hands of the refs, bad things can happen. Is exactly
absolutely.
What happened.
That's why I don't blame it 100% on the refs, because Dallas did let it get to that point where it could be ref affected. So that's where my stance is on that game. I'm trying to remain unbiased on it because I don't want to sound like a crazy chaotic Cowboys fan, which I mean deep down I am, of course, but I'm also trying to be fair to the show and just have a very critical point. I just think Dallas came away looking like the better team. Philadelphia has a lot of question marks. CeeDee Lamb almost had 200 yards receiving. Well, he basically did. He had 199 yards receiving on 11 catches. Let's take a minute here just before we get into the Patriots and the Commanders game and Justin's take on Mac Jones and New England's future, and of course that looming rumor that they might be firing Bill Belichick after their Germany game against Indianapolis. Let's take a minute to admire CeeDee Lamb's last 3 games. He has been on a absolute tear. He had 125 plus against the Chargers, 125 plus against the Rams, and of course, well over 125 against Philly. Ever since he had that little knack of I need to get the ball more, and Dak was like, yeah, we need to get CeeDee the ball more, they have been making a conscious effort to get CeeDee Lamb involved, and it truly shows in their offense how productive CeeDee Lamb can be when you give him the opportunity. And that's it.
And that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Now, Justin, let's kick it to you. We all picked the Patriots last week. I almost felt bamboozled into picking the Patriots. I originally had the Commanders. Then we had to mention the Montez Sweat trade. And, of course, the Chase Young trade and how the Commanders might just be tanking. And we all picked the Patriots, Justin. And what happened, Mr. Philip Rivers Jr.? What happened?
For the 4th time this year, Mac Jones cannot finish a final drive. For the 4th time this year alone. The Patriots are 2-7 because for the 4th time this year, Mac Jones cannot finish a fourth quarter drive. You had opportunity against the Eagles, the Dolphins, the Commanders most recently, and then also the Raiders. Cannot finish. Just simply can't finish. The defense played well enough to hold them into it. But it feels like a team that, again, I will put this caveat out there. Mac Jones was missing his two best receivers, and I mean with an asterisk because they're not exactly barn burners in Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker.
It's fair.
But he's missing Mr. Reliable in Kendrick Bourne, who I can guarantee you he would pick to throw to 9 times out of 10 over Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yes, I have no question. I agree with that 100%.
And I think because he felt the pressure to finish the job, he forced the ball into Juju Smith-Schuster, which ended up being the pick. They were moving the ball consistently. And speaking of penalties, there was a roughing the passer penalty against on Mac Jones that should have been called that wasn't, that ended up being
agreed.
And I don't know if that was on the last drive or maybe the drive before the last, but still, much better field position they should have had. But I'm the Buffalo game was fool's gold. That's where I'm at right now with that game with Mac Jones. It was fool's gold. It was a nice little blip, but I'm kind of done. I'm done with expecting anything. If they win, I'll be surprised. I'll be happily surprised. I think they had every opportunity to beat the Commanders. Sam Howell played out of his mind.
He's looking better and better every week too. Let's not act like he isn't.
No, and I honestly didn't expect him to have as much success as he did, and kudos to him for balling out because he absolutely did.
Yeah.
But I think you have to say it's time to
Hang it up on Mac Jones.
I'm done on Mac Jones and I'm done on Bill Belichick. It's a matter of scheming, coaching, and I'm ready for the change in the guard. It's just a matter of fact.
You know, it's what we talk about all the time. It happens to every team. It happens to every dynasty. Eventually, they crumble, and you know, it's just unfortunately at this point, it's no doubt that's what's happening to New England. They do not have what it takes to compete right now, and I don't know if it's the lack of receivers. I don't know if it's just Mac himself, but Mac at times looks lost out there. He looks like he doesn't feel comfortable within himself. He looks like he doesn't know he looks like he doesn't know the offense.
And it's not just that. I mean, there are times when he looks like, wow, where's this guy been all the time? And then something goes sideways. If you kind of remember how we were talking early on in Zach Wilson's career, you take him off his first read, he's lost completely. Mac's kind of the same way, and he was definitely last year, and he's regressing back into it this year.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I'm there are some things I will give him. I will not necessarily give him a pass, but I will give him like a grade on. The offensive line has been horrible,
atrocious.
I mean, it's musical guards and tackles. The only mainstays been David Andrews in the center. God bless him, because he's the one who's been answering the tough questions at post game every week, and he's been there every week, every snap. He hasn't missed a snap all year. But everywhere else has been musical guards and tackles, and that there's no sort of sense of continuity there, so he doesn't know what to expect. But then you also have the receivers who can't get open, even if you paid them to. Oh wait, you are paying them to when they don't. But I think there's just been too much. I think we've seen enough to know.
I think we had to. I agree.
It's sad because I had a lot of hope for him, but yeah, I think it's time to write the book off, write the epitaph.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say otherwise at this point because even when teams are in the rebuild process and teams are struggling to get dubs and, having rough patches throughout the course of their season, we typically, especially with a Patriots team, especially with a Bill Belichick led team, you expect to see improvement. And I haven't seen that at all from New England this year.
I mean, you again, like I said, the Bills game was an aberration. I honestly think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Isn't that the only game this year where they play with a lead to begin with to start off the game? Is that the one game that they started out with the lead?
Yep.
Maybe the Jets game.
Maybe it's yes, because it was the first time that Bills game was the first time they had a lead since the Jets game, which is absolutely mind-boggling when you break it down. But
I think they could beat the Colts.
No.
They have the ability to, but I don't.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No.
And maybe that's just fandom, them wanting wishful thinking. I mean, absolutely.
I got a feeling when it comes to our picks, you're not going to be picking New England, though.
No, I'm not. I'll be again, like I said, I'll be happily surprised that they do win, but I don't expect them to.
No, I don't. I wouldn't at this point either. Ian. Now, of course,
Drake May. I mean, if not Caleb, I'll take Drake May.
Somebody. It's got to be somebody at this point. Ian, we kind of can give you a pass this week. You weren't playing with a true quarterback. I think it's clear as day if Stafford's in that game, the Rams win. However, is your overall mood change for this season? I know a couple weeks ago you were talking about you had Pittsburgh, Dallas, and Green Bay. Pittsburgh, Dallas, and Green Bay coming up. You said you're hoping to win at least one of those. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Where do you stand on the Rams right now?
Yeah. I just want to point out before we go through the picks in a little bit. Before we all had the Rams, and that was before the Stafford news.
Yeah.
I was cautiously optimistic, but at this point, I'm almost ready for the season to be over. We're 3-6. We're still gonna have to go ahead and play the Niners again. I know Seattle got their ass beat, but excuse me, they're looking pretty good right now, or they have been looking pretty good, I should say. I didn't even realize till Friday they were 5-2. I was talking about it with a friend of mine. But yeah, nothing's really changed as far as my mindset. We are getting Carson Wentz, so that's definitely a ray of sunshine. But I mean, when you have your leading receiver getting 48 yards, you don't have Brett Rippon, obviously not the answer. He doesn't even look like he's going to be a serviceable backup for the couple weeks that I thought I checked earlier. I think Stafford, he's going to come back. I don't think he's out for the year. He's going to be
he's out until the bye week. After the bye week.
Which makes sense with the Carson Wentz signing. If they don't think that Rippon can even be that serviceable backup, it kind of makes sense why they would sign somebody like Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and I know that Eagles fans, Commanders fans, Colts fans were all sick of him, but at this point, I'd gladly take Carson Wentz over Brett Rippon because man, that
vastly
was
more
tough.
talented. More talented than
tough to watch,
Rippon,
man. So. I mean, we had a chance in the second half to go ahead and take the lead there in the third quarter and just couldn't do it. We couldn't put up any points. I mean, 187 yards of total offense, 68 yards on the ground. Freeman had 32 of them on 12 carries, but it just I don't know, man. It's just kind of how the cookie is crumbling for the Rams. Let me see who we have after the bye week. Oh, we got the Seahawks in LA. And then we're going to have at Arizona. That's a free win.
That's a free win if you want to quickly touch on that. The Cleveland Browns, who we all picked, only allowed 58 total yards on the Cardinals on Sunday. 58 total yards.
Let's not act like the Cardinals were going out there with a real quarterback or even a real offensive scheme, though.
True, but
after they traded Josh Dobbs, they kind of just threw in the towel on the season at that point.
This is true, but they're still an NFL team. Granted,
yes, for sure.
But 58 total yards on the day.
Speaking real quick of Josh Dobbs,
I was just going to say that.
Let's give that man his flowers real quick. coming into an offense that he had only been familiar with for 3 days.
Not even that. He hadn't even taken a single practice rep.
And beating the Falcons, who were leading the NFC South at the time. We can make all the jokes that we want about the NFC South. They were still the leaders of that division. And my God, Josh Dobbs got it done. I don't know if that's more of a referendum against the NFC South and the Atlanta Falcons as a whole, or if we should just shut our mouths and give Josh Dobbs his praise for what he did. But either way, what a performance that was by him. And that must have been, honestly, such a almost surreal moment for him to get traded from the worst team in the league to go to a team that has a shot at a wild card. They're not going to win the division. We all know that's going to go to Detroit. However, a real shot at a wild card, possibly. And for him to stand in there, not flinch one iota, and come out there with a dub, all the respect in the world for Josh Dobbs.
So I was mistaken. He had a practice on Wednesday, and that was it.
So phenomenal. That's why sports are the greatest thing. You have to expect the unexpected.
I mean, they lost Justin Jefferson, they lost KJ Osborne, and Cam Akers.
Now, we'll see if that Josh Dobbs mojo can continue on to this week against the Saints. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I have my doubts. But I wouldn't be opposed to a Josh Dobbs run that leads the Vikings to the playoffs. What a story that would be.
Skull.
I have a buddy, his name is Nick, who is a die-hard Vikings fan. And he is loving Josh Dobbs right now.
Nick Mitchell?
Yes, Nick Mitchell.
Shout out Nick Mitchell.
Shout out Nicholas Mitchell. He is in our Facebook chat, our Facebook group, rather. And that boy loves him some Minnesota Vikings.
You guys want to see how we did with the picks?
Let's take a look. I don't think we did great, but let's see how we did.
Justin didn't do bad. Actually, both of you guys had a winning record.
Really? I felt like we got worked.
Now, hold on. Did I the Saints must have had a bye this past week? Am I correct?
No, Saints did play.
Who did they? Wait, really? Who did they play?
Chicago.
Really? Hold on.
We all picked the Saints.
I know. Let me see. Saints versus Bears. Is that one that I missed on here? I actually didn't put that one down. Okay, and I know we all had the Saints.
I can comfortably say we all picked the Saints.
We did, so and they won.
Ahead. All right. So in that case, I just got to add a win to each of our totals. So Justin went 9-5. Casey went 8-6. I went 7-7.
Wow, 2 in a row.
I was looking for that one because when Casey said the Saints, I was like, I did not see them on this thing.
Wow.
But yeah, no. I'll just some notable ones. Casey was the only one that got the Thursday night game wrong. He had Tennessee. I honestly thought I had picked Tennessee before I went back and looked at it.
I thought I had too.
I was the only one that believed in Miami. They lost, obviously. We all had Cleveland. We all had the Rams, but like I said, that was before the news. We all had Atlanta, so Josh Dobbs kind of made us eat our words. We all had Baltimore. Justin was the only one that had Houston. Me and Casey both had the Bucks. I feel like I was
DJ Stroud.
He is a monster.
500 yards?
Close to it. He is undoubtedly rookie of the year right now.
Oh yeah, it's not even close. Hey, that was 5 touchdowns. What I was thinking of, not 500.
4 touchdowns, right? Was it 4 or 5?
4. I think. I'm checking right now.
I'm pretty sure it was 4.
We all had the Colts. We all had the Saints. We all had the Raiders. Casey was the only one that had the Eagles, and he actually won that one, funny enough. We all had Buffalo.
CJ Stroud threw for 470 and 5 touchdowns. God.
Insane.
And the winning touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, right? Right there at the end.
I'm almost willing to eat my words on CJ Stroud. I don't know if you guys remember when he was picked. You hated any quarterback coming out of Ohio State because they've all been bust.
Except for CJ. Yeah, Fields.
No, Fields is like 4-30 is a starter.
Bust.
I wouldn't say I'm not ready to say Justin Fields is a bust yet, but I do definitely see us concerned with the Ohio State quarterbacks. Because I know in the first or second show when we were all picking I think we picked who was going to be the breakout and then who was going to be a bust. I'm not sure if
I
Casey
said
had
CJ Stroud as
CJ
the
Stroud.
bust. I said Stroud would be a bust, and so far, he's proven me wrong.
Justin and I both had Richardson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, he's hurt, so you can't really.
Right. Yeah. No, that's kind of like
He was looking real good before the injury, though. Let's not act like he wasn't.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I just thought he was more. I mean, because he had that a bunch of really crazy plays at Florida. He was just athletic, and I thought he was gonna be one of those guys that was just athletic and overhyped. But now he's proving me wrong. Hopefully he gets back soon because he's gonna be a guy that he's gonna be around for some years. And speaking of the picks, man, why don't we go ahead and
let's get to
jump into them. Let's get to our week 10 picks, fellas.
All right, let's see how badly we could do this week. Okay.
Thursday.
You want to go through the games, Casey? I like the way you do
it.
Yeah,
yeah, I got it. Let's pull this up here real quick. I apologize, folks. I'm a little bit delayed on this. Week 10. Okay, fellas. So starting off in week 10, again, we had the worst Thursday night game ever imaginable. We have the Carolina Panthers heading into Soldier Field to face probably Tyson Badgett again, who's actually looked decent at times, and the Chicago Bears. I'm gonna say give me the Bears and the DJ Moore revenge game.
Yep, I'm going with the Bears too. I mean, DJ Moore for my fantasy team has been really just sucking wind, and he's up. I think he gets an uptick this week, so I'll take the Bears.
I think we see a Bryce Young coming out party this week. Give me Carolina.
Ooh.
I might massively regret this, but that's life.
I don't know if you can ever massively regret anyone like this pick because this game could go either way. Like, I'm only taking the Bears because they're at home, and I think DJ Moore is going to want his revenge.
Yeah.
So for that reason and that reason alone, like, I'm going with the Bears.
Alrighty. What we got next?
Well, we have another game in Germany.
Oh my fucking god.
The Germans.
This might be the end of an era, fellas. This might be the end of it all for Mr. Bill Belichick. We have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the New England Patriots. I'm just going to say it now. Give me the Colts.
Colts. Just let it end. Rip the Band-Aid off. Just let it just get it over with. I'll be happy if I'm wrong, but rip the Band-Aid off. Take the Colts.
The Patriots have looked pretty impressive at multiple times this year, but at this point, I think that they're surprising.
Wait. Before you continue, Ian, you want to back up about 14 seconds and repeat what you just said?
Give me 1 second.
The Patriots have looked
universe.
I had to tell my cat to shut the fuck up. I mean, they hung
in what universe have the Patriots looked impressive?
Against the Bills.
So what?
Against the Bills.
And the Jets.
That's it.
The Jets they beat, right? I think.
Yes, they beat the Jets and they. Oh my goodness.
Because
okay,
Zach
sure.
Can't play against Bill Belichick.
Give me the Colts. Give me the Colts.
Thank you.
What's the next game?
We have an AFC North powerhouse showdown between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. And before I make this pick, I think you're going to know who I'm picking after I say this statement. Am I crazy for thinking Baltimore might be the best team in the league right now?
Yes.
You're not.
You're crazy.
I mean, it's debatable. I don't think you're crazy. I think it's debatable.
It's debatable.
They're 7-2, and they are demolishing everybody.
They're probably the best team that's not being talked about. That's what I would say.
I'm going Baltimore in this game for sure.
You said it's
Baltimore.
Where?
It's in Baltimore.
Ooh. Yeah, it's hard for me to see any, but cause shit. I mean, look what they did to the Lions, man. Like, and
look what they just did to the Seahawks. My God.
The Seahawks aren't the level.
No, I understand they're not that great of a team, but my God, they made them look like they didn't belong on the same field as them.
Before we get on to the next thing, have you guys ever watched a game and the announcers just blatantly favor one team and you kind of have
Yes.
to watch it on
Consistently.
mute?
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Consistently.
Have you ever watched Joe Buck call a game ever in any sport?
I don't mind
Have
Joe
you
Buck
watched
in
Jim
baseball.
Nance call a Patriots game in the Brady era? Just saying.
I like
Yeah,
Jim
no,
Nance,
that's so
but
true.
yeah,
It's true. It's true.
What do we got next?
So for the next game, we have a battle of some storied franchises here, fellas. This is a storied franchise game. We got the Green Bay Packers heading into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Give me the Steelers.
Give me the
give
Steelers.
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 I mean, I don't know, man. The Packers, I don't believe in them. Steelers just had that win. Granted, Pickett did throw some pretty bad balls against Tennessee on Thursday, but they still got the win. TJ Watt looks unstoppable at times. Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers by 50. What do we got next?
This game is the top notch of what you'd want for a 1:00 game. We got the 49ers coming off a bye week, heading to Duval to face the prince that was promised, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Aren't the Jacks coming off a bye too?
Oh, I think they are.
Wait, isn't Jacksonville what? What did you ask, Justin?
Aren't the Jacks coming off a bye as well?
I believe
I don't think.
Yeah, they are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they are.
Man, this game could go either way.
With a sense of desperation, man. Purdy. had that
Yeah,
pretty good, like-
absolutely. They're playing with a sense of desperation. However,
I'm gonna take the Jaguars.
dang.
What's the spread? Let me see. What's the spread?
Hang on, I'll check that for you.
If I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna say Jags 2.5.
If it's in Duval, you're probably right.
Say
San
Jags
Francisco
2.5.
3.
San Francisco's
San
minus.
Fran. Oh my God.
Oh wait, are they -3? Am I? Yep,
Minus 3 going to Jacksonville.
I got
Did Brock
Jacksonville.
Purdy come back or some crap? No.
I am gonna go.
Is Purdy hurt? What if I just completely spaced that? Let me see.
I thought he got hurt, didn't he?
Oh, that's right. Because what's his face played when they lost to whoever the fuck they lost. Yeah, you're right. Let me see. Block. But regardless, I don't think Purdy is the answer. The Niners will be playing with that sense of desperation. But
No,
I mean,
Purdy played against the Bengals.
Oh, right. It was the week before. I think when they played.
That was what I'm thinking of. Okay, never mind. But even then, I'm taking Jacksonville.
Give me the Jags.
In this game, you got to go with the better quarterback, which is clearly Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully, they don't make. I mean, because if you would have told us, if we would have said 5 weeks ago that hey, we're all gonna bet unanimously against the 49ers when they're 3-point favorites, I think
you think you're crazy,
right? But now it's like I don't know, man. I think something's seriously wrong. They're like the Niners to me have fallen out of. Granted, well, I mean, they've lost 3 games. I mean, it's gonna be tough when they play Seattle again. But I don't know, man. I mean, have they lost this? I feel like they've lost this. Though they lost to the Browns, they lost to the fucking Vikings.
They've lost to the Browns, they lost to the Vikings, lost to the Bengals.
Oh, they haven't even played Seattle yet. I don't know, man. I just don't have any. I mean, okay. So what's their? Let's look at the standings real quick. What is their record? I know they lost 3 games. So
5-3.
They're still first in their division because
they're tied with Seattle.
Right, yeah, they're tied with Seattle.
Now, here's the other thing to consider. Didn't they just pick up Chase Young?
Yes, they did.
Has he played a game yet with them?
No, they were on the bye week when they traded him.
Right. I got Jacksonville in that game.
Oof.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
This announcer doesn't stop riding LaSalle so hard, bro. I'm listening. I'm just every time they hit a fucking 3, pow! Like, man, get the fuck out of here. That Philly shit is different, man.
So the next game that we got going on here, we have Josh Dobbs' second game, a home game against the Saints. I don't think he's going to reincarnate that magic twice. Give me New Orleans.
I think this Jordan Athens coming out party. Give me the Vikings.
Well, let's see the spread. Let me see. Hold on.
It's in Minnesota. Minnesota, New Orleans 2.5.
I mean, well, because New Orleans is job. I mean, New Orleans with that Atlanta loss and them winning, they're now at the top of the NFC South. I say, give me New. Wait, who had the Vikings? Justin, right? Me and Casey both
yes.
I got the Saints.
Now, this game here, the next game that we got going on, I feel it's going to be a lot closer than you would probably anticipate when you first hear it. Then when you break it down, you might see what I'm saying. We got Houston going into Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Bengals, but I feel it's a much closer game than people are going to think.
I think the Bengals are going to win too, but I think Houston's going to give them a run for their money.
Me too.
Yeah,
but give me Cincinnati.
Scrappy,
I think that both teams could combine for 60 points easily.
Yeah, the way that CJ Stroud has looked, absolutely, and especially the way the Bengals offense has been coming on the past few weeks, I could for sure see that, Justin.
I'm gonna ride the hot hand. Give me the Texans.
The Texans, damn, okay. Closing out our 1 o'clock window, we have the Will Levis-led Tennessee Titans now against the Bucks. And the past 3 times I've gone with the Bucks, they have absolutely screwed me. With that being said,
you're still gonna pick them against.
Right, I could feel it.
I don't know on this one because I'm not sure if the Will Levis 4 touchdown game was a blip, like lightning in a bottle, and not his actual stature.
He looks good.
He does look good, and I don't necessarily. Man,
this is
the
an
Bucs
absolute
going to be playing.
win for
I'm
Tennessee.
taking the Titans in this one.
And
me too.
Both 3-5. I mean, they Tampa Bay is a game and a half back of New Orleans. And then Tennessee is 2 games back of Jacksonville.
Give me the Titans.
Where's the game at again?
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa.
1.5 favorite.
Oh yeah, I think Will Levis is. I think he's gonna play better on the road. Give me the Titans. I feel like the Titans are the team that every time I bet on them, they fuck. I've never marked the Titans green for me. So who did you have, Justin?
I have the Titans.
We all got the Titans.
All right. That's so weird that you guys say the 1 o'clock window. Like that's 10 a.m. for me.
Yeah, I get you. So on the East Coast, Ian, starting off the 4 o'clock window,
we've got 2
your 1 o'clock window.
2 gimme games.
We have the Detroit Lions heading into LA to take the Chargers. I don't think it's much as a gimme game as you think.
Wow, that's
Isn't Detroit coming off a bye too?
They are. Give me the Lions, but I think it's going to be a very close game.
I got the Lions too, and I think the Chargers win on Monday was just because Zach Wilson sucks.
It's in LA, dude. The thing is, LA, bro. That could. I mean, I don't know. I actually did have like a high school teacher that was a Lions fan. I know one Lions fan, so I don't know if it's gonna be a home. Anytime a team comes to LA for a big game, or Vegas for that matter, it almost turns out to be a home game for them. What is the spread on this bad boy?
I'm gonna guess the Lions 4.
No, Lions -2.5 in LA. So in reality, it's like they're -5.5. We haven't seen the Lions in a week, bro, but give me the Lions. I like what they're cooking up over there. I hope I don't regret it, man, because the Chargers have been one of those teams over the years, man, where it's like
they can't close the game out though when it's close.
Who? Detroit? Oh,
No,
I mean the Chargers.
LA.
Yeah.
Chargers.
Yeah, give me the Lions. Definitely give me the Lions.
I don't know. Do I want to redact on that one? That I don't know, man. It's just I do have faith in Herbert, bro. But it's like Justin said, when the game is close, the Titans or the Chargers just go MIA. What's the trade? They've only lost 2 fucking games, I think.
Yeah, to Seattle, and then they got smacked by Baltimore.
Bro, I'm gonna stab my cat if she don't shut the fuck up in there. I gotta give her a boop. She'll be okay. 6-2.
Exactly.
They're 3-1 on the only time they lost on the road is when they got absolutely dog walked by Baltimore. Yeah. I mean, Mike Williams, I'm pretty sure is still out. I feel like I'm thinking a little bit too much about it, man. It should be Lions easy, but you know,
No, I agree with what you're saying, Ian, because I had that same kind of hesitation because the Chargers can be an explosive offense.
for
And
sure.
so if they get on that roll, they have absolutely the ability to win that game. And if you're basing it strictly off quarterback, Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than Jared Goff, but it just seems that the Lions are so well coached, they're so well poised. If you just want to cross off that Baltimore game, I'm cool with that too, because I even great teams have a bad game where they get smacked around. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was 2018. New England won the Super Bowl that year. They played in Detroit on a Sunday night and got blown off the field. Justin, you remember that?
I remember that. I was like, what just happened here?
They got blown off the field that game.
Who did Detroit?
No, New England. New England got blown off the field by a Detroit team who went on to win like 6 games.
Game like doing business, that one was.
But the thing is, too, I feel like Detroit. Now, granted, Minnesota goes into New Orleans this week to play the Saints, but I think Detroit can start to feel Minnesota nipping at their damn heels. I mean, I was looking at the records. The Chargers are obviously 4-4. This might be a little bit of a desperation spot for Detroit as well. I think Detroit's going to come out and play, coming off the bye, especially. Yeah, give me the Lions. I'm a little bit more confident than I was initially, just thinking about the fact that now they're going to have to worry about, because if both teams end up being, well, Minnesota wins, Detroit loses, then they would both be, well, no, they played one less game, so Minnesota would be 6-4, Detroit would be 6-3, so Detroit would be leaving by a half game. But give me Detroit, because they're starting to feel, I think they're going to turn it up. We all got Detroit.
Yeah, we all got Detroit. Now the next game that we have here, I want to preference this by saying, I don't know if you guys have seen the news. Their quarterback has officially been removed off the PUP list and could play on Sunday. We got the Falcons heading into the desert to play the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, possibility he might play.
Falcons.
I got the Falcons too, but first week they lost to Josh Dobbs. Now are they going to lose to the team that Josh Dobbs got traded from?
Yep.
It's a possibility, but I'm going to roll with the Falcons too. We all got the Falcons. And then after that, for some odd reason, this is America's game of the week. It's going to be nationally televised to about 85% of the households at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the New York Football Giants heading into Jerry's World to take on my Dallas Cowboys, who I think are livid at what happened last week at Lincoln Financial Field. Give me the Cowboys.
Against Dallas's third-string quarterback, Dallas by 50.
Yeah, Dallas by 50. What's the next game?
Okay, hold on. I just want to throw this out there. If by some odd reason you guys are right and they win by 50, that would mean they outscored the Giants by 90 points in 2 games.
Pretty sure that would be NFL record.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
The only question would that be an NFL record would be the 08 Patriots against everyone else that were just shellacking.
The next game that we have on tap here, fellas, is the Washington Commanders coming off their win against the Patriots, heading into the 12th man to face the Seattle Seahawks coming off their toughest loss of the year, probably. Give me Seattle.
I got Seattle too. I like Geno Smith. What Geno Smith's been doing.
I'm not that crazy. Give me the Seahawks as well.
And then I'm just throwing this out there, fellas. The NFL has to do something immediately about these Sunday night games. Last week was a great one, so I'm not going to hate on that. Buffalo versus Cincinnati, phenomenal Sunday night game. Then they're going to follow it up with the Jets and the Raiders. I know the schedule gets made at the beginning of the season. Y'all don't need to come at my head, anyone in the comments. I understand that. But flex it out. Like, oh my goodness, put Lions Chargers there. Put 49ers Jacksonville there. Hell, put the Browns and the Ravens there. There are so many better options that you could flex this to. With that being said, give me
It's
the
in
Raiders.
Vegas,
I
right?
liked what I saw last week. Antonio Pierce looks like he has a different drive for that team. Give me, Ian, say it with me, the Raiders.
I mean, put the Lions and the Chargers in that game, for God's sake. I mean, that's not much of a. I mean, I still think the Lions are a better team in the long run, but that's a better matchup than the Jets and the
It would
Raiders.
be, yeah. I mean, I think the Lions Chargers at least going to be entertaining.
Especially in LA, like that would definitely be fit for a prime time game. But instead, we got it.
Yeah.
I feel like with it because now let's look at it. The Raiders um my bad. The Raiders' three primetime games this year have been Sunday night against the Steelers. I think it was week 3. I think it was a Monday night against Green Bay, and then
No, they had a Monday night against Dallas.
not this year.
Are you talking about the Chargers, right?
No, I'm talking about the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. I'm so sorry. I thought you meant the Chargers.
Hey, give me 1 second. G Cat got out. Hold on.
One thing I would say, Antonio Pierce has had them play with passion on Sunday.
He does. I mean, they just absolutely beat down the Giants last week, and not that that's any like prize, thing to be praised for is beating down a lonely team like the Giants. However, the way they looked in previous weeks comparatively to how they looked against the Giants last week, Antonio Pierce is doing something right with that team, and I truly believe they can keep this pace up. I got them by a good margin against the Jets on Sunday.
Yeah, I've got them by a two-score win.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing that's going to be for the Raiders to keep this kind of poise up is following in that Antonio Pierce mind state. And I'm just going to say one very simple plan on offense. And you know what that plan would be, Justin?
Keep it simple, stupid.
That too, but get Davante Adams the football. I don't care if you got to throw it to him 15 times a game. Get Davante Adams the football.
Yeah.
And then, of course, no, I mean, if you want to talk about a receiver who's being misused this season and his production is hurting because of that, look no further than Davante in Las Vegas. They have not been utilizing that man to his potential, and it's sad to see. People are forgetting how great Davante Adams truly is.
Oh,
Or on the flip side of it, was he only so great because he was playing with Aaron Rodgers? I guess that's a conversation for another day, but it's something to mull over.
I still think he's the truth, personally. And then he goes and plays with. I mean, the Raiders have just been such a mess, man. And now that granted, you have to play with the interim head coach the rest of the year, but I think just getting Josh McDaniels out of there, I think they're going to be playing with a renewed sense of energy.
Well, look how they looked on Sunday.
Yeah, no, they looked awesome on Sunday. I didn't catch their game, but I know they beat the fucking brakes off of the Giants. And my bad, by the way, fellas. My cat's she tried to leave my house in search of some dick. I think her baby daddy is always like sitting outside of my house meowing. And she got out. My friend was like, "Hey, bro, your cat got out." So she's back in with me now, and yeah, that's all that matters here. I care less what happens on Sunday.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You got the cat back. You can give it some nice boops and continue on with your night. So I totally feel you on that one. Now, we're down to the Monday night game for this week, fellas, and I'm just so disinterested in all of these primetime games that the NFL has been shitting out to us recently, and that's the best way to put it. Monday night's the Broncos and the Bills. I mean, give me the Bills. But my God, can we get some entertaining primetime games, please?
Broncos must have just came off of a bye too, right? I don't remember them playing.
Yes, they did. They did. But Justin, I know you were talking about how you don't think Buffalo, they're kind of up and down this year. I think this is the week where Buffalo finds their stride, because this happens. You got to remember, this happens to probably at least one team every year. They start off, 3-3, 4-4, 5-4, something like that. Like the Bills are sitting at 5-4. Then they take off. They go on a hot streak. And I think this is the week where it happens for the Bills, where they're going to rattle off 3 or 4 straight wins in a row. And I'm not just saying that because they play the Eagles in a couple weeks either. And I'm just blindly hoping that they beat the Eagles because I hate the Eagles more than any team in sports and all their fans are trash. But that was a lot of mouthfuls. I'm going with the Bills in this game.
I got the Bills too.
My hot take in our group, I don't think I ever came out and said in our shows that the Broncos were going to make a playoff run. But now looking at the schedule, the fact they're going, ooh, it's going to be in Buffalo. You're right. They are shitting these games out to us. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? I mean, hell, like looking at Buffalo's schedule, they could have given us like Buffalo versus Cleveland on Monday night or some shit. Oh, no, that's not Buffalo versus Cleveland.
It gets even worse. I'm just throwing this out there. Next Sunday, the following Sunday night game, it's the Vikings at the Broncos. They're giving the Broncos, of all teams, 2 straight primetime games.
At least Josh Dobbs will line them up.
Hell, Chargers have had 3 straight primetime games. I mean, they had Dallas. They had
Okay, so the other thing is, as soon as now, did the schedule come out before or after Aaron Rodgers got traded to the Jets?
After.
Okay, so there's the other thing. The Jets have had a ton of primetime games because everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to show up.
That's a fair point for sure.
So,
yeah, no, it's definitely a fair point. I get it, but it's at that point in the season where they really, really should be starting to flex out these games.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I mean, hell, we're halfway through the. I mean, now you know the football like a little bit more as far as the intricacies than I do. When do they normally start flexing them? Like week 12, 13? I mean,
after Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving. Okay, yeah. I mean, at this point, they should really look at because every team gets at least for 2 for the most part. I mean, every team gets at least 1 primetime game. I know that, and then Dallas gets like 80.
I was gonna say after Thanksgiving is when you're gonna see Dallas playing primetime pretty much every week. They'll have the Sunday because they have what Dallas does, and I think this is super smart. I don't know how they get away with it every year, but somehow they do. Directly after, obviously, we all know Dallas plays every Thanksgiving. So that's just how it's always been, how it's always going to be. The following week, they have another Thursday night game, a Thursday night game, and they always play a team who did not play on Thanksgiving. So they get that full week rest, and that game is always at home too. And so they have that week off coming to play a team that has to travel to them on 3 days rest. You know what their record is after Thanksgiving? That first game after Thanksgiving since they started doing that 4 years ago?
0-4?
No, 4-0.
Okay.
4-0. They haven't lost a game since. It's super. I don't know how they're getting away with it every year. They're 4-0 after Thanksgiving, the past 4 games. 4 years.
Now, to the NFL's credit, not this week, but next week. Maybe the week after. I'm not sure. I'm losing track of days. Week 11.
So that'd be next week, Monday night's game, Eagles-Chiefs.
Yeah, they hit the home run with that one.
They hit the home run. It's a Super Bowl rematch. Philly's coming off their bye week, obviously. Kansas City's coming off. I think this is Kansas City's bye week, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So it's the Eagles and the Chiefs bye week. So both teams coming off a bye, playing Monday night. Oh, I can't wait for that game next week. That is going to be epic.
That's a primetime game. That's worth a primetime game.
Am I the only person that thinks Kansas City might just fall on its face at some point? Like, I mean, we saw it, last year, like 2 years. I mean, both past couple of years to where in the middle of the season, they'll struggle real bad. They eventually pick the shit back up. But I just don't with their, like you were mentioning, their secondary. There's just so much off the field shit going on. I don't
Kansas City?
Yeah.
Kansas City has a top 5 secondary in the league.
I mean,
I was saying they had doubts coming in. I mean, are they really
coming in? Yeah, but they have outperformed this. They had Kansas City. Their strength of the Kansas City Chiefs right now is not their offense; it's their defense.
Well, we'll see what they do when they have to go against Devontae Adams, when they have to go play Philly and AJ Brown, have to play Stephon Diggs and Buffalo. We're gonna find out about them.
That's fun. That's fair. But that's a fair statement. But they played Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill this past week and held Miami to 14 points.
It was a neutral site game.
Your mom's a neutral site game.
On to the next one. I mean,
how about them Black Bears?
I'm just saying. Before we get on to the Black Bears, Eagles secondary is pretty trash. I mean, Dak let them up for 374. Zeke has
Here he goes again.
CeeDee Lamb had
Here he goes
199.
again. Here he goes.
So what I'm saying is imagine what Patrick Mahomes is going to do to that defense. And I'm going to answer your other question where you said, are you the only one that thinks the Chiefs are going to fall flat on their face? Yeah. I mean, unless Justin thinks that, then you are definitely the only one that
They're
thinks
losing
that.
to Miami in the playoffs.
The
That's
only way they'd fall on their
delusional.
face is a Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift breakup.
No, they're not going to stop the Dolphins in the playoffs.
That's the only way they fall on their
All
face.
cards yet.
Ian, the Dolphins haven't beaten a team with a winning record in
That's gonna
over
change.
400 days.
That's gonna change
That's
in the
not
playoffs.
going to change. They're
Dolphins are gonna run
not.
everybody in the AFC out the door.
No.
You already know I have the Dolphins going to the Super Bowl.
I know you do, but that's just not the case. That's not what's going to happen. It's the only, and I mean the only way the Chiefs are going to fall flat on their face is, I'm knocking on some wood here, is if 15 gets hurt. If 15's on that field, they are not falling flat on their face. He's too good. He's too special. And
he looked human against Denver. We'll just put that out there. He looked human.
Sure, he had the flu, but sure, yeah, he looked human. Everyone has a bad game. But does he have bad games in January? Not really.
Not often, if ever.
So, hot take time here. I think in 3 years, we're going to be saying, yeah, he's the GOAT.
Ooh.
3?
Ooh.
3 years.
I'd say 5.
Because I think
I'd lean more towards 5 too.
I think actually 5's a more accurate statement because I think within 5 years he's going to get 2 more rings. It damn sure ain't going to take to 7 for that GOAT conversation to start.
Does he have both Super Bowl MVPs?
He's got both. He's 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
I thought Travis Kelce won one of them.
No. Mahomes won both.
Okay.
He's got 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 Super Bowl championships, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 5. He started 5 seasons, guys, and he's been to 5 AFC championship games. I just throwing that out there. He started 5 years, been to 5 AFC championship games.
Hard to argue.
He's special. And if he is on that field, the Chiefs have a chance to win. And I don't think anybody can dispute that point.
Before we get to some Maine hockey, I just want to point out that Alabama and Georgia are both losing this weekend. I didn't realize both games were this weekend. I think Alabama's played down to the level of competition all year.
So when Alabama and Georgia both win, because they're going to, I want you to open next week's podcast, and I want you to say, Ian Blackwell, was wrong. That's what I want you to do.
That's fine.
Too.
If they we'll do it if they both lose. If one of them wins and I'm kind of halfway right, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, because nobody's perfect, right? But yeah, if they both lose, I will come out and I will say
they're both going to win. Alabama's going to win, and Georgia's going to win.
Now, the Georgia thing, not worries me, but they had a big scare against Missouri this past weekend, and that kind of worries me. Like that might have woke them up. And Ole Miss had a really impressive come from behind win against A&M at the last second. Alabama's been playing down to the level of competition all year, though. Like Alabama, some of their worst games have been against teams that they shouldn't have even had to compete with. And Tennessee or Kentucky, I think is better than people are giving them credit for. Georgia, who knows? I mean, Carson Beck, is he really that guy? Ole Miss has looked unstoppable. But I think that Georgia...
And Carson Beck doesn't have to be that guy when you have 15 NFL caliber players around you.
That's fair. Brock Bowers is definitely going to be in there. Oh, so what's that fast-ass white boy? McConkey, I think.
Was Stetson Bennett that guy? Like, obviously, Stetson Bennett, you could argue, is the greatest college quarterback ever.
He was a manager. He was a game manager.
But with the talent that surrounded Georgia, he didn't need to be Caleb Williams. He didn't need to be Michael Penix. Like, he didn't need to be these type of players.
I think Ole Miss puts their ass on the ropes early, and then Georgia tries to come back, and they're like, "Oh fuck, this isn't Missouri." Ole Miss,
I can't wait till Georgia's up 21-0, and I text you. I'm just gonna send you a picture of my big fat face smiling at you.
Rankings did come out this evening. Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State.
I think those are undoubtedly the 4 best teams in college
Yeah.
football.
I think Ohio State, bro. I think Michigan is gonna fucking shellac them. Michigan is. I was looking this past weekend. Their what is it? Their turnover mark. Like they're by
Michigan's
far.
at Penn State this weekend.
This is the biggest test for Michigan. By far and away. They have not played any really top tier caliber teams this year. That was one of Sean's biggest pet peeves about Michigan over the past couple weeks. This right here is going to be exactly what I was telling Sean. When they play Penn State, in Penn State, and it's going to be a whiteout game. We all know this is going to be a whiteout game.
Happy Valley's going to be whiteout. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Happy Valley's going to be white as snow. Michigan is going to win that game by 10 plus. Mark it down now. Write it down. Take a picture. Send it to your grandma. I don't care.
Do Michigan and Ohio State go into that final game this weekend unbeaten?
Yeah, they both will, and Michigan will win that one too.
I think Michigan's gonna. Ohio State, they've had too many question marks. There really haven't been many question marks around Michigan. There's been a couple of times where they've started pretty slow, but the margin of victory between them and everybody else is ridiculous. They're winning by like
astronomically different. It's ridiculous.
They haven't given more than 13 points in it all year.
I don't even think they played that well this past Saturday against Purdue, and they still blew the doors off them.
Purdue has put up the most points against them all year long.
How much did Purdue score? Like in the 20s?
13. 13.
13. That's the most. Oh, and before we, I just want to point out, and I can't believe I haven't mentioned it yet. Just before I forget, USC finally fired Alex Grinch, bro.
Took him long enough.
About damn time.
Took them long enough.
I'm so fucking sick of watching USC, bro. We won 52-42. We had the highest. I think we were 35. Was it 35-35 at halftime or 28-28 at halftime? It was ridiculous, bro. It was the highest scoring Pac-12 game in like 6 years.
You know, before we get too far into that, I will say it was heartbreaking to see Caleb Williams go into his mom in the stands and just lose it.
I want to touch on that too. I want to touch on that. There's a lot of people, a lot of analysts. I don't know if you guys saw, or I know Ian knows who this is. I don't know if Justin knows who this is. I'm about to say his name. What the media and especially what Jason Brown tweeted about Caleb Williams after that. Do you know who Jason Brown is, Justin?
I don't know who he is. No.
Last Chance U football coach.
He was do you know the show Last Chance U on Netflix?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so on the Indy series, which by far is my favorite Netflix show ever, was his direct season linked with Indy. He was a JUCO coach. Very rough-nosed. He's from Compton. He was the only white boy growing up in Compton. He's very hard-nosed, very tough individual, very hard on his players. Regardless, anyways, he tweeted something along, I don't know word for word, so I'm just going to quote it here as best as I can. He said something regarding how Caleb Williams is soft and he wouldn't draft his nail polish wearing ass.
Weirdo ass. I see that shit here.
It was horrendous what he was saying. Anyways, my point on this being, I do not like the feedback that the media is giving Caleb Williams for being upset and having a breakdown after that game. Let's not forget and let's not dismiss. These are college kids, bro. Most of these people are 19, 20, 21 years old, not fully grown moan yet. They are kids. This game means everything to them. The fact that people are criticizing him for having a breakdown moment after that big of a game and just getting over emotional and seeing his mother and crying, that's not a big deal to me.
It's not. I don't think it's a red flag. If I'm a GM, I'm not going to look at that and be like, "Oh yeah."
No.
Nah.
I think it's despicable what some of these media analysts are saying about that. Like, how dare you criticize someone who's basically still a kid for being emotional?
I mean, to be honest, like, I think the thing with Caleb is when he came out, I mean, granted, Caleb Williams, a lot of the moves, to my understanding, is controlled by his father, who's just very overbearing. The whole I want ownership stake in an NFL franchise. I do agree with you to an extent that they are kids still. Like, you know, you can put them on TV in front of 80,000 people and you can, you know, they're all muscular. You know, they're grown men essentially as far as their bodies, but they're still
grown men in physical stature, not an emotional strength.
But at the same time, though, the way I mean, I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't say there's, because like you said, maybe mentally they're still a little bit immature, but I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with that comment. Was it a little bit too far? Yeah, but I don't, just the overall criticism. A lot of times when it comes to college athletes, I don't really mind because that's
I
just
don't
kind of
mind
the it's kind of
critiquing
the
their
nature.
game. Ian, what I'm,
That's
I
just
don't
kind of the
mind if they
nature.
get critiqued on their play. That's understandable, and that's what should be critiqued. Is their play, how they performed in the game. That is completely acceptable to critique. That's your job as a sports analyst. It's not your job to belittle someone who's probably, what, 22 at the most? 22 years old, to belittle him for having an emotional moment. I personally think that's just so disrespectful and out of bounds.
I mean, I don't. I think you make a really good point. As far as like, yeah, your job is to comment on the game, is to have your opinion on the game. But I don't really think there's any. Do I disagree with his take? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Caleb Williams is soft. I don't think that indicates he's soft. But I mean, we have seen guys to where Ryan Leaf, for example, we could have just chalked it up as, hey, he's an immature kid. He'll be fine when he gets to the NFL. He obviously wasn't fine. Same thing with Johnny Manziel. Like there is definitely some merit in some of the assumptions about, not assumptions, the takes that they have on non-performance related things. But with the Caleb thing, I don't agree. I don't think that makes him soft. I think if anything,
It shows
it
he's
will
human.
show that
Okay,
he
hold on, hold
cares.
on. Let me point out the differences in what you just laid out right there, though,
Hmm.
really quick. The Johnny Manziel critique wasn't the fact that, oh, he's emotional, he doesn't show toughness. That wasn't the critique with Johnny Manziel. The critique with Johnny Manziel is he doesn't care. He goes out and parties. He doesn't study the playbook. He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
care about his teammates. That's a completely different situation than what happened with Caleb Williams.
I also think that Coach Brown too, because I did follow him on YouTube for quite a while. I think I still do. He's just he's one of those, just an old school coach. He's just really really stuck in his ways. I don't think the whole Caleb Williams thing makes him soft. I think there's been so much criticism on Caleb Williams, and I don't think a lot of it is warranted. Caleb Williams has absolutely balled out for us this year. You guys should have seen the
Absolutely.
spin move that he put on the
I mean,
Washington defender.
he lit it up. I mean, granted, they didn't get the job done, but he lit it up against Washington.
I mean, he can't do anything if we're giving up 52 points. You know what I'm saying? If
Exactly.
he can't fucking stop
Exactly,
anybody.
Ian. Exactly right. What is he supposed to do when your defense is, if I'm
Swiss
not
cheese at
mistaken,
best. Swiss cheese at
if
best.
I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, Ian, they're not even ranked in the top 100 for college football for their defense.
They're like
They are so
110. They're probably worse than that now. Shit, to be
they
honest.
are undersized, under talented, and of course, before he was fired, piss poorly coached. None of that is a reflection on Caleb Williams. He is
Caleb
super
Williams.
talented.
I got the stat. Like Caleb Williams was 27 of 35 for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns. Anywhere,
Phenomenal.
that's a fan-flippin-tastic game. Flip
You said
side of
27 for what?
he was 27 of 35 for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I don't think he threw a pick either, did he? He
He
might
did
have
not.
thrown one.
No.
Did not throw a single pick. Michael Penix was 22 of 30 for 256, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. But lest we forget that Dylan Johnson also ran for 256 yards.
That dude.
Exactly.
Now,
He was balling.
as far as, because I don't give into the notion, like I think we could call college kids, do we have to mentally understand that there is still going to be room for emotional development? Sure,
It has
but
to be.
I don't think there's anything wrong with calling these kids who are, might be given millions of dollars by an organization soft. But as far as his take against Caleb Williams, I don't think that's accurate at all, and I don't think that one second of him crying under the sheet, I don't think that's a reflection. I think his take was wrong, but I don't really see anything wrong with criticizing college kids. I just think he was off about Caleb Williams. That's more or less what I was trying to say.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with criticizing them, but keep it to their play.
I mean, you could call
criticize the
him
play, don't
soft. I
criticize
think
the person.
I don't know. I disagree. I mean, I think you could call him soft, but like, yeah, you're gonna have to take into account some of the things they might, they could just still be a young kid. But I mean, some kids just. I mean, who's another guy of an example? Like Ben Simmons, bro. Ben Simmons in college, you could tell he's very mentally or easily phased. Um, And look what happened. It kind of carried over to the NBA. So I think there's some merit to it, but I don't think he was accurate about Caleb Williams. Like
That's
you
fair.
know, I'm not gonna. Hey, well, this guy, I mean, that's kind of, neither here nor there. It's kind of getting off topic. This guy cheats on his girlfriend. He's a terrible person. Like, no, it doesn't matter if he's a terrible person. He gets out there and gets you 30 points a game. I don't give a fuck about that. But if you call him soft, and nothing Caleb Williams has shown me has been soft. But I don't. I'm not completely against criticizing guys about that. But how about them Black Bears?
Man, what a weekend it was for college hockey, too. Like going from college sport to college sport here. What a weekend it was for Maine. Jumped up from 20 to 13 in the U.S. poll rankings with a weekend sweep, which
Biggest
I
sweep?
called last week against Merrimack. Jumped up 7 spots. And boy, oh boy, is Bradley Nadeau something to watch. That guy is a absolute freak of nature on the ice.
And I watched both games from the comfort of my own home. But unlike the last weekend where they were kind of they weren't as aggressive, I would say, against Quinnipiac. I mean, the first game they came out balls to the wall and just lit them up, but and then got the doors handed back to them, game 2. But they just came out and just lit up Merrimack every which way that they could, and it was impressive to watch.
It was very
Maine won
impressive
that
to watch.
second game 5-4, right? They ended up coming all the
5-4. They pulled the foot off the gas.
I was gonna say that second game is a prime, and I mean a prime example, which I think Maine learned from, to never take your foot off the gas. From a 5-1 lead, and then in under 8 minutes to have it be 5-4. That's exactly
Was it
what
under 8
happened.
minutes? Was it that
It was
quick? I thought it
under
was
8
like
minutes. I think it was under
15
6.
And
Really?
they
I'm checking
just,
it right now.
as
Actually.
soon as Merrimack got any bit of life, for some reason, I'm still happy Maine won the game, and it just propelled them in the rankings, which is phenomenal. But once they ended up Merrimack with any bit of momentum, it was almost impossible for Maine to get it back, which is why the best old saying in sports remains true: you play till the clock hits 0. Maine did not do that this past weekend, and they still survived, thankfully, because of that 5-1 lead. I think it's a great sign going into Boston College
I think it was a
this
very
weekend.
humbling experience. I think when anytime that
Absolutely.
I mean, because hell, if I remember correctly, Merrimack tied the game with what, like 4.5 minutes. Like there was still a decent amount, or not tied the game. Sorry, they came within
They
one.
brought it to a 1-goal game.
Yeah,
With
within like
about 4
four
minutes
and a
to
half
play.
minutes.
Yeah.
But Maine was hitting, bro. They were everywhere. Like first 2 periods you watched, and if somebody didn't know anything about hockey, they would be like, yeah, Maine is clearly the better team. But like you said, they just took their foot off the gas. I know Osman got caught with that little wrap around. The defender was kind of late. I don't remember it exactly,
Absolutely.
but yeah, he was
No,
kind of
but
late
you
in
said it
whatever.
beautifully.
Patera
But
for
You said that
Merrimack
beautifully.
he was flying up and down the ice, and
Flying.
he was fantastic. I mean, kudos to that kid. But no, Maine. The other thing I've noticed, and it's something I noticed when in the Quinnipiac game as well as the Merrimack game, especially the Merrimack weekend, when they pull their goalie, the opposition to Maine has trouble putting the puck in the net with an empty net.
They
They can't.
struggle. They struggle in general when a team has a man advantage, whether it be when Maine's on the penalty kill or if the opposing team pulls their goalie. They struggle to really gain puck momentum.
Yeah. But what an improvement on this team. If even 2 years ago, if you were having this conversation, if you told me that Maine was going to be a 13th ranked team in the country, I'd think you're crazy.
now, did Maine's? I don't know about Friday. I didn't catch, but like the last 5 minutes of the game Friday, I don't think they scored on the power play Saturday. Maybe they did once.
No.
They did not.
Yeah, that's one thing that they got to take advantage of. I mean, when you have Bradley Nadeau, 30th overall pick by the Carolina Hurricanes, they have some, they're moving the puck pretty fluidly. You have to capitalize on some of those power plays because when it comes against a team like BC or Boston University, those caliber teams, you're going to have to, Quinnipiac, you're going to have to be able to capitalize on those power plays because you're not going to be able to just out-talent them like they did against Merrimack. So I guess that'd be the one concerning thing for me. But yeah, no, definitely shout out to Maine, bro. That was really cool to watch. And I don't know if I know you guys watched. I don't know if you had the volume on or not. I think it was a Merrimack broadcasters, right? Like the
It
Merrimack
was.
local
Yes,
broadcasters.
it
Okay.
was. I did not have this sound on. I had my two TV set up. We had something else playing on our main TV, and I had the main Merrimack game on my smaller TV.
But
I
this is a
think it
huge test
bodes.
this weekend. Huge test this weekend.
I think it bodes really well into what Maine has to go into this weekend. Now, I will preference this by saying the Alfond is going to be electric this weekend. It is going to be the loudest it's been in years.
In
It's going to be
decades. The last time we were since Gustav Nyquist.
it's going to be sold out. Maine fans, the student section is going to be drunk. They're going to be ready to go. That's a game where that student section is going to be in full capacity during warm-ups.
Not
Yeah,
even close. Yeah,
I
it's not sooner.
I'm gonna finally get to not in person. Obviously, I'm a good 5,000 miles away, but I don't remember watching a Maine game. I mean, even the playoff game I watched against Vermont, where it's just. I mean, I've seen the what they call them, the Maniacs,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna be pretty crazy, man. Like I can't wait. Friday. Is Saturday an earlier game or is it the same?
Same time.
Let me check. I've got this. I've got the schedule here.
Pretty
Hang
sure
on.
it's the same time. I'm pretty sure they're both 7 o'clock puck drops.
Let me double check for us.
And if Maine, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I like, and that's what I think. Blowing that Merrimack, it's a lesson that you want to learn before number one, before you get too deep into the season, and you have to learn when you're losing 3-4 in a row in conference play. But you want to learn that lesson before you go and play a team like Boston College. It was a humbling experience. Had Made end up winning that game 5-1, 6-1, whatever they ended up winning by, if they did end up blowing them out against Merrimack, then I might have been a little bit less confident. But I think having that experience, they're going to be a little bit more prepared to go in there and take care of business. Because Maine's going to come out and be aggressive. I don't think Maine
I got a
is scared
split.
of anybody.
I got a split. I'm
got
not
a
sure
split
which way it's
too.
going to happen, but I got a split. I think Maine wins one night, BC wins the other.
Both games are at 7 o'clock, mind you guys.
Yeah, I
but
figured they would be.
this is
But
a
yeah, I
question
see
that I
that game
posted
coming
to
out
the-
as a split.
This is the game I posted to the group, and I like to have you guys hear you guys' takes on this. If Maine were to sweep, get swept, or split, where do you see them once the rankings come back out?
Let me go
Right
see
now,
what I
they're
put
13th.
because I know I answered you.
I didn't answer this one, so I want to answer it now. If they sweep 5, if they split 11, if they get swept 17.
I don't think they fall out of I think they could lose 5-0 both games and they're not falling out of the top 20. The absolute lowest they might fall is like 17. I more or less just kind of mirrored Justin's rankings. He said sweep 6. I said if they sweep 5. He said split 9. I said split 10 if they get swept. And I said not sure, depends how bad they lose, but I doubt they fall out of the top 20 is what I said.
Yeah, like I said, I say if they sweep, they'll be 5. If they split, it'll be 11. And if they get swept, it'll be 17. That's where I see their rankings would be.
Yeah, no, it's going to be.
Where do you think Boston College would fall to if they got swept? For their 1, I'd probably 4?
4, maybe 6, depending on the other teams. Think about it. You've got Providence, who's playing a very weak Northeastern team this weekend.
That's an easy sweep for Providence.
You've got let's see. Oh, Denver at Arizona State. Arizona State's no slouch this year. They're 16th, but Denver is definitely the superior team.
Yeah, I got Denver in a sweep in that one too.
You got North Dakota at Minnesota Duluth. That's going to be.
That's a split.
It's a split. And then there's who else is? Hang on a second. God, I think he had. Where's Wisconsin playing this weekend?
It's a good question. I'm
Wisconsin's
not
a good up
sure.
and comer too. Jeez,
Hey, they're ranked what, fourth?
third.
Third. Damn. Yeah,
They
Wisconsin's
have the
no
weekend
slow.
off, then they go to Michigan State.
Oh,
Michigan
that's a good
State's
game for
what?
Sean to go to.
12, right? Or 11?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, no, it's I'll probably watch more hockey beginning of this season than I have at the
I mean,
beginning of any other year.
there are 6 Hockey East teams in the top 15. Just
It's
putting it out there.
by far the best division in college hockey.
I mean, you got Boston College 1, Providence 5, Boston University 9, and then Maine, UMass, Amherst, and New Hampshire 13, 14, 15.
Hmm.
Speaking of hockey, for what it's worth, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I have 2 TVs set up for this. I have my second TV going right now. The Rangers have scored 5 goals in the second period against the Red
What?
Wings.
Jesus
Wait, are
Christ.
you sure? Mine says 4-0. Let me
They just
check.
scored again. They just scored again.
Oh, and speaking of NHL, are you sure? Mine still says 4-0.
Ian,
5-0.
I'm watching the
Yeah, it
game.
literally just changed for me. And speaking of the NHL, how about them Anaheim Mighty Ducks, man?
Yeah, boy.
Man, I was here. Fuck the Golden Knights. For real, bro. Oh my god. And we were down what was it? We were down 2-0, I think. And then we came
2-0.
back. Yeah, 2-0 we came back. I watched the whole game, but I didn't even see us get the third goal. I
I'll
don't know.
always have some respect for the Ducks, but it's only because of the movies. I'll always have some respect for the Ducks.
Fair.
So I'm not hating on that, Ian. I'm not hating on that.
My God, man, Gibson was just killing it, man. That dude has been our goalie for the longest, bro. I mean, I was obviously a huge John Sebastian Jaguar fan. And that run is really, I mean, I like the Golden Knights, bro. Like, I live in Vegas. Like, it's cool because people really like them out here. But I'll always be a Ducks fan, bro. Like, if it wasn't the Duck, if it wasn't for the Ducks, I wouldn't know the difference between a blue line and a clothesline. Was it Al Michaels? But Golden Knights are still rolling though. I mean, they're 11-1, bro. Like they went from being like 6 in the preseason odds, and they're like number 1 now. Like they're 11-1-1, and we gave them their only regulation loss. But yeah, man, I'm hyped. This is our 30th anniversary season. We started out pretty rough, and we've won 6 in a row.
That's pretty impressive. I won't lie.
Sean's Red Wings. If Sean ever decides to join us again, they're second. I mean, they're right behind the well, I mean, I say right behind the Boston Bruins, but in the Atlantic, but they're still 6 points behind. But they're getting absolutely fucked by the Rangers right now. Yeah, the Rangers I have 17 points, so they're actually second in the East overall. And before we get on to the question, I know that we were mentioning a little bit in the group. Well, 2 things. First, how do you guys feel about eliminating, and then we'll get on to Justin's thing about like the Achilles injuries, grass versus turf. I thought that was an interesting conversation as well. But how do you guys feel about eliminating the divisions? I'm personally an advocate for it because there's no way that if Dallas doesn't end up winning the division, that they should have to go on the road to Atlanta. I think it's just unnecessary considering they're in the best division. But I was also kind of struggling to figure out a solution to that. Like maybe the
That's
division
the
winner.
problem, Ian. There is
Right.
no solution because you have to reward a team for winning their division. Like, regardless of how putrid the division may be,
Mhm.
what do you be like? Oh, congratulations, you won your division. However, you don't qualify for the playoffs. I mean, it's a slippery slope, man.
It's a very slippery slope. I think one thing is like because it's like you can't change the amount of playoff teams. Like you got to keep some type of base, some type of structure for how many teams are going to make the playoffs, how many teams from each conference. I've always been an advocate of if you don't have a winning record, then put the next best team that didn't win their division in there or something like that. Because I don't think there's. I
I
mean,
get it.
like, 'cause, I mean, shit. Think about when the Beastquake play happened. Seattle, I'm pretty sure was 7-9, and they beat the defending Super Bowl champs, New Orleans. Had that game been at at the Superdome, now known as Caesars Superdome, what the fuck they call it now, they probably would have got their ass beat. But they went to the 12th man, which I mean, I don't really feel like they should have even gotten the opportunity to play in that game, the playoff game. But they won their division, which was shit. So what
I
do you
see your
guys
point on that.
what do you guys think is the like the Achilles injuries? Like I was actually watching something not too long ago about grass versus turf. Players want to play, right? I mean, it's been a minute since I watched the video. Players want to play on grass, correct?
Correct.
So I agree that it should be grass. You know what's crazy is I was reading about this, probably 2 years ago, and there's a theory out there that's never been confirmed nor denied, and it pretty much goes on to say that when you're watching a game on artificial turf inside of a dome, to your brain, it's more aesthetically pleasing than it is to watch a game on TV outside in the grass. And
Really?
so it gets more viewership for them, for more teams and more players, sorry, not players, for
Because
more
the field
teams
is
to be playing
brighter.
in. Yeah, so it's more
That makes
aesthetically
sense.
pleasing and it catches your eye more.
Now, I was watching the movie The Friday Night Lights, like the behind the scenes, and that was at the old Houston Astrodome. Bro, that was like fucking concrete damn near. Like that shit
Yeah.
was there was no I don't know if give is the right word. There was no give. I know when I
It
was
was
in high school.
carpet.
Yeah, we played
It was
at
carpet.
or not high school. I played at you said it was carpet?
It was practically carpet comparatively.
Yeah, dude, and it's like because I played in high school. We played at a school called Citrus Hill. It's in Paris, but they have it's like field turf, and even that was kind of like weird. But it's definitely, I mean, AstroTurf, bro. That's like it fucking this shit looks like it hurts, and dudes have gotten
No, absolutely,
fucked up.
absolutely, Ian. What do you guys think of that? What I was saying though, as far as like the aesthetically pleasing aspect of it.
Makes sense.
That's fair. No,
Uh,
that's for sure.
it makes sense because look for example, look no further than Boston, the Boise State University with the blue turf.
Hmm.
That's
I
fair.
mean, it
And
brings the viewership.
I
But
will say I do enjoy watching games more in a dome than I do an outside stadium team. I will say that. I think it is more aesthetically pleasing. Is if I have no like rooting interest in the game. If there's two games on, right? And I have no interest in like rooting interest in either one. And one's played outside in a dome, inside in a dome, one's played on outside grass. I'm probably gonna watch the one played in the dome.
Same
That's just
thing for
me.
me with baseball, because it's like even if for example the fucking I mean for the most part with the except well now there is one thing with baseball. I'm not a huge fan of watching games at Tropicana Field. But
no,
that's just that place is a complete shithole. But I mean if you're talking about like Chase Field or Minute Maid Park, I think there's just something cool about being in a dome. I mean, granted, a lot of Casey might be right. It probably is more aesthetically pleasing. I think when you're playing on that artificial. You said artificial turf, right, Casey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna bring a lot more. It's more aesthetically pleasing, gonna bring a lot more viewership. Because I think then you can make the fucking shit. You don't have to maintain. It's obviously cheaper, but you could focus on the field just because it looks. I don't know. It just looks cool. Like I can't
And
really
like
explain
it,
it. Like,
like Justin said, it's brighter. It pops
and
out
the
at your
light bounces
eyes.
off of it probably is what kind of it is, right? Because it's not
Yeah.
yeah.
fucking grass. Like,
But then now we have the player arguments like because it's not maintained because you don't have to do anything to maintain it. Now you have injuries that have been cropping
Absolutely.
up.
And that's where I still completely agree with your take, Justin. They should stop doing it because to me, artificially pleasing doesn't negate the player safety. Like that should and needs to be the number one concern of
yeah,
every
for sure.
league is player safety. Because you can try to make all the money you want, you know what I mean? You can try to build the best league and have the best arenas and best everything. If you don't have good product to put on the field, it doesn't matter what it looks like. No one's going to care.
I mean, for example, we've already lost Aaron Rodgers for the most part for the year. He's hinted he might come back.
Daniel Jones just went down.
Well,
Um,
isn't there one team that plays on grass, the Bears, or did they just switch to turf?
Bears play on grass. They're not the only one. The Packers do too.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Patriots play on grass, don't they?
Patriots
Patriots play
don't
on
play
grass.
on grass.
Oh, okay.
No,
Chiefs
it's
play on
still it's
grass.
turf. Patriots play on turf.
Oh, the Patriots play on turf. Okay.
Yeah, they went to turf after they moved into Gillette Stadium.
Gotcha. Okay, so at Foxborough they played on grass.
Yep.
Okay. Makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that's just one thing that when you brought that question up, Justin, it kind of popped in my mind. This thing that I saw on it a few years ago, where just the NFL is never going to have an all grass led field league for that exact reason. They draw a lot more viewership from games that are played inside of domes.
Oh,
It's
and
all about dollars and cents.
Yeah, no, for sure, exactly. It's all about the money, you know. It's like these billionaires. I mean, because that, that's is a lot more work to upkeep the grass, hire a maintenance crew to do it, than it is to just get some turf and be like, hey, go fucking break your fucking ankle. Now before we get on to the question, I know I said this a couple times, and I'll keep it short because we have been running over a little bit. I've been in an argument with like a couple of people, not an argument necessarily, a disrespectful debate, with some people on Facebook the other day. What do you think is the lowest level, sorry, of men's boys basketball that could beat a WNBA team? I think Montverde would smoke the Aces. I
High
don't know about
school,
smoke. They win by 15, 20. But what
high
level
school.
of high school? Because my point was like, if you
High
take the
school.
state champions from like Maine or something like that, to where you actually have like a 6'5", 6'6" center, something like that. And these women are pros, don't get me wrong. There is something to be said about they've been coached by some really good basketball minds. I know Becky Hammond is obviously the coach of the Aces. You guys both say high school too. Like I don't know. To me, it depends. I think Montverde would absolutely smoke them. Somebody was trying to tell me that no, they would lose to the W. I was like, bro, they have Cooper Flag, who's probably gonna be the number one pick in the draft, number one pick in the whole country. Montverde has like 5 top 25 recruits.
Yeah, no, I agree. They would smoke the Aces 100%. It wouldn't even be close. And that's no disrespect. It's just physics.
It's just
Just
physics, and then
biology.
I think another thing too. Yeah, it's obviously just physics, but you think about it, it's not even just physics. Like those super athletic boys have to play against other super athletic boys. Like the level of
And that's not
competition
to
you're
take
used to.
anything away from the women who are playing. Not at all.
No,
No, not
they're
at all. Yeah.
probably more skilled than the boys as far as like shooting, passing. They probably have more skill based games at the moment because the boys haven't developed their games fully quite yet. But just the physical aspect, they wouldn't be able to run with them. They wouldn't be able to jump with them. It wouldn't be a close contest.
Like if Cooper Flag was to enter the WNBA today, he would average 45 points,
Easy.
23 rebounds. Probably that dude's ridiculous. Man, you guys got a good one there. Take care of him, man.
Yeah, it will be hard not to root for Duke next year, even though I despise Duke. It will be hard not to root for Duke when he's there.
Man, that dude is good. I mean, is he the best athlete to come out of Maine? And like, I
Easily.
don't. Right.
Ever.
I mean, well, Paul Correa was from Maine, right?
Paul Korea
No,
was
I
not
mean he
playing.
played
Paul
at
Korea
Maine, but he
played
wasn't
in
from
Maine.
Maine. The
He was
best
from Vancouver.
Oh,
the
okay.
best athlete up until this point was probably Matt Mulligan,
Yeah.
who played 4 or 5 years in the NFL.
Played for the Patriots for a few years.
Got a touchdown pass from Tom Brady, actually.
Yes, he did.
Um, and then of course we have Andre Miller, who's trying hard to make an NFL roster right now. Who went to my high school, actually went to Old Town High School. Phenomenal at the University of Maine. Made the Packers practice squad. So he's
Played for the
doing some
Patriots
things.
for the Patriots preseason squad for a little bit.
Yep.
Let me see where Jeremy Pena is from, because I know he played at Maine, but he's Dominican American.
I want to say he's from Florida.
Yeah, I think I looked this up before. He is from. Blah, 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 blah. It said he lived in Dominican Republic before he moved to Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, boys. What do you say we move on to the question before we hit the 2 hour mark here?
Yes, sir. We are at 1 hour and 38 minutes. I don't know if you guys saw my message in the chat. Unless there's any objections, I'd like to ask the question because I actually
You
just
are
thought
more
of it
than
about an
welcome
hour
to,
before the
sir.
show.
Go for it, sir.
All right, good deal. I appreciate you all's support, and make sure you hit up my GoFundMe. My cat just got hit by a car. Not really. She's sitting next to me. So the question for this week's show is not the best team. I want to clarify, because we can go on and on about the best team in sports history, beat it like a fucking dead horse. I'll start with Justin. What is your favorite team in history? Like I said, not the best, just the team where you're like, I really like that team more than any other team ever.
2004 Boston Red Sox.
I knew you were gonna say that. I had a feeling you were gonna say that, and why is that? Yeah, why is that?
Well, again, California kid growing up, being a Red Sox fan my entire upbringing, and just knowing everything that had been, and watching heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, like the '03 championship series with Tim Wakefield floating the knuckleball and Aaron frickin' Boone launching into the left field bleachers. It was just painful to watch. But that year was my first real, because I had an opportunity to go to the Angels divisional series.
Oh, when David Ortiz hit that walk-off, I was pissed. I was a kid.
Yeah. I didn't get to make it to the game, but I had an opportunity to go do so. Unfortunately, I was still in high school, so I had to go to school. But it was the first year that I was able to honestly take it all in, and again, 86 years of futility wiped out. And again, you can't beat. I'm sure you guys have both seen the movie Fever Pitch. The corny movie with Jimmy Fallon and Drew
I
Barrymore.
have not.
Oh,
it's such a good movie.
Corny
it's so corny, but it's so good.
Corny rom-com, but at the same time, it follows the 2004 Red Sox to a point.
Fun fact: they had to change the ending to that movie.
They did because
they originally had it as the Red Sox losing in the playoffs.
Oh, I know what movie you're talking about. Where it's like a rom-com. They're at the Red Sox games and shit.
Yeah. Another fun fact: they were actually on the field at the end of that.
They were.
I remember specifically Joe Buck talking about how they're filming the end of a movie at that same exact time. Yep. I was like, that's insane.
Wait, this was during the championship series?
This was during the ALCS.
So at the end, it's Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore. They're on the field, like celebrating that the Red Sox won the World Series. They were actually out there real time as the actual Red Sox were celebrating. They were like closed off a little bit, of course. So, but yeah, they were actually out there celebrating.
But
like not celebrating for real because they probably didn't, because Jimmy Fallon's a Yankees fan, but like celebrating as far as like the movie aspect goes, which is weird. Jimmy Fallon played a diehard Red Sox fan, yet he's a Yankees fan, but that's neither here nor there.
But I mean, every time the Red Sox either get blown out or blow someone else out, I always quote the movie 19-8. Good God.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh man, that's a really good question, Ian.
Now, before you answer, and honestly, I was gonna guess Justin's answer because I was like, I wonder what Justin's gonna be. I thought, oh wait, Patriots, and then I was like, oh no, 04 Red Sox. What about you, Casey? I want you to give your honest answer, not just not say the 04 Red Sox because Justin said it. But I really want to know your answer because I'm honestly curious. I just thought it might be yours as well.
It's not. It's close. I would have to say
13 Red Sox?
No, because
Okay.
Mine would probably have to be the 08 Celtics.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that. With the
anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, mine would have to be the 08 Celtics. Of course, I've been a Celtics fan my whole life. Going from what they were in 2007 to they were the absolute worst team in basketball. To obviously trading for Kevin Garnett, picking up Ray Allen in free agency, or was it the other way around? Did they pick up Kevin in free agency and trade for Ray, or did they trade for Kevin and pick up Ray in free agency?
They traded for Kevin, picked up Ray.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah, so they traded for Kevin, picked up Ray in free agency, and just for that one season turnaround to go from the worst team to winning the title was an absolute special thing to see. Of course, beating the Lakers in 6 games was another beautiful moment. Absolutely demolishing them in Game 6 was one of the best things I've witnessed as a sports fan, especially from my end, being a Cowboys fan, not really remembering any of their Super Bowls from the 90s, of course. I haven't had a chance to see them host up that Lombardi trophy. Hopefully that changes in the near future, but until that time frame comes, it would have to be the 08 Boston Celtics. I would say the close second, of course, would be the 2004 Red Sox, the 2013 Red Sox, 2003 Syracuse, or 2002 Syracuse. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's 03.
02, 03.
Yeah, but the year that they actually won the title was 2003. That's definitely up there as well. 2011 Bruins. Those are all ones. Now I'm gonna throw one out there that won't make that much sense to you guys when I say it initially, but when I break down why, you'll understand. The 2003 Dallas Cowboys. The reason being is this season was coming off a back-to-back 5-11 seasons. So 3 straight seasons of 5-11. They fired their head coach Dan Campbell, and they bring in the big tuna Bill Parcells, and we go from 11-5 to 10-6, and we make the wild card round. We lost to Carolina, who ended up going on to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots. But that turnaround that season, it was the first time since I really started getting into football. And I've been a Cowboys fan since day one. I came in when they were starting off 5-11, and just I don't know what it was that drew me into the Cowboys. And it's such a strange analogy because the Cowboys are the most popular franchise. I didn't know that first starting watching football, of course, but just something about that star, just it grabbed me, right? And so that was the first season. I was like 11 years old. That was the first season where they were a decent team. They were beating a lot of good teams. They actually beat Carolina in the regular season that year. But that team was super fun to me. Emmitt Smith came home. He was a Cardinal, came home to Dallas. We held him to like -6 rushing yards. It was beautiful. Shout out to Emmitt Smith. I still love him, one of my favorite players ever. But
I
to
saw
see
him
him
out here in Vegas one time.
when obviously the all-time leading rusher in the NFL, inarguably a top 5 running back of all time. That team would definitely get an honorable mention for me. What about you, Ian?
I want to give both of you guys one guess. I don't think you're gonna get it. Sean might have gotten it. I briefly touched on not the team. I don't want to give it away. I kind of touched on something that had to do with them in one of our earlier shows. I don't know if Justin was on it. I don't think Jason. No, I don't think Jason was here. But I want to give both of you guys one guess. It's not. I don't think either of you guys are gonna get it, but we'll see.
It's not the 2022 Rams.
It involves the Boston. Nah, it involves a team from Boston. I'll tell you that much. It involves a team from Boston.
Well, Justin, I'll give you. It's not the Lakers. He's a Clippers fan. He's not a Lakers fan.
Okay.
Definitely not the bubble Clippers. They blew a 3-1 lead. I love bringing that up.
Shut up. Sorry, no, not them. No.
It's not the 2022 Rams.
I said one guess. No, not the 20. That's probably.
I haven't guessed. I said it's not. I'm ruling out who it's not. It involves a Boston team.
Was it the
Boston? Actually, Ian, one question before I make my guess. Is it a college team or a professional team?
Pro
team.
Okay.
It's a pro team?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna, you know what? Not even good. I think that's too much of a clue. Not gonna give it to you.
Was it the comeback by the Blues against the Bruins?
Hockey? No, I cannot name a single player from that team. Negative.
Okay.
It involves a Boston team. Okay. No, I don't want to ask too many questions because I don't want to
spoil it. I get you.
Yeah. Because there's questions we could ask to narrow it down, obviously, so I don't want to do that.
How about this? You guys get 3 more questions, like it's for hints, and then you guys both get one guess.
That's fair. Obviously, it's one. Does it involve a sport that Justin and I mentioned for our favorite teams?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the 2004 Anaheim Angels?
No, but I like them as well. Shout out Vladimir Guerrero. You got one more question. Wait, no, I think you got 2 more probing questions.
Justin, you got to think of a question here, man.
Oh, God.
Obviously, it's not the 2008 Lakers.
No, it's not the Lakers. You already said that. Ooh.
Actually, let me ask you one more probing question, Ian.
This is number 2.
Is this team, because it doesn't necessarily have to be, so this is why I'm asking this. Is this team your favorite team in for that professional sport?
No, not at all. Not even close.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. That's because I was thinking all your favorite teams. So
All right, what's the last probing question before you guys last guess?
I have a guess of a team in mind, but I don't think it's right. Is it the 2004 St. Louis Cardinals?
No. Only person I think I can name from them is Pujols, and maybe if Yadi Molina was there. I don't know if he was. No, it's not the Cardinals.
I'm all out of guesses.
Oof.
You get one more probing question.
Did this team win the championship that year?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it the 2010 Lakers?
You're not gonna get it. I'm telling you. One more question. Oh, that was the last question. Okay, so what's your final guess, Casey?
All right, my final guess is the 2018 Los Angeles Dodgers.
No.
They
You
didn't
have
win.
been voted off the island.
Oh wait, yeah, because he said they win the title. Damn it! Let me get one more guess because they won the title.
Yeah. That's fair. I'll give you a mulligan.
Okay, thank you. Because they lost to the Red Sox. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Okay, is it the championship that year?
Was it the Golden State Warriors beating the Celtics?
No, I actually wanted the Celtics to win.
Okay.
Was it the 2012 Miami Heat?
No. Can I go ahead and tell you guys who it was?
Go for it.
Yes.
The 1986 Mets.
Oh.
You can't use that.
Why can't I?
For that?
Doesn't fucking matter. I've seen Once Upon a Time in Queens.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
So
That does not count.
So they're getting blowjobs between innings, and they're doing fucking coke, and 3 of the players had drug arrests, and they had their own song.
That is
I can't.
bogus. It has to be a team you watched, because otherwise I'd say like the 92 Cowboys.
Or the 85 Bears.
Like, that is bogus, Ian.
Like, you just took me through all that shit for nothing. Yeah, every time you guys said too. Yeah, I felt like that was a little bit unfair, but I don't know, man. I've just seen. I've watched like quite a bit of their games and shit on YouTube. I've seen like the whole World Series on ESPN Plus. That team was something else. They had Gary Carter, who was, I think, a preacher, but he was like a man of God. And then you had
Mike Scioscia was there.
Darryl Strawberry
was Scioscia. I thought he was on the Dodgers at the time.
Scioscia was the catcher
for the Mets.
Yep.
Gary Carter was the catcher, and then when he got hurt, they had
Scioscia was there at one point. I know that for a fact.
Let me see. That's a good let me see. But no, man. Now it's okay. As far as my favorite team being alive, give me a second. I'll just think about it. I don't know, man. I do know. I do know my favorite team as far as when I was it's a college team. I think you guys are gonna get this shit.
Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. It was not so.
2005 USC.
Exactly, 2005 USC. That was a lot easier. But no, let me see. Maybe well, because I know Scioscia was on the 88 Dodgers. Yeah.
You're right. I was wrong.
Oh, okay, for sure. Nah, yeah, he I don't know, man. The 86 Mets, I've seen that documentary like 5 or 6 times, and that team was just a hoot, bro. Like, they just had so many personalities. That's my favorite. That, and then probably the OJ Simpson, OJ Made in America documentary. But they had Gary Carter, who was a preacher. You had Lenny Dykstra, who got arrested as recently as like 2 years ago. Darryl Strawberry, always in and out of trouble with the law. You had Doc Gooden, who in 1985, known as Dr. K. He was looking like he was on track to be one of the best pitchers of all time, and then had to battle some personal demons. You had Keith Hernandez, captain, and that, he was great. Bobby Ojeda. You had Kevin Mitchell, Ray Knight. Yeah, man, I've seen this documentary like 8 or 9 times, but I could definitely tell that Casey is pretty upset.
Oh,
I feel like I was played
Buckner.
outside of the rules.
You were playing outside of the rules. That was how on earth are we ever supposed to guess that?
I gave you all
you
the
weren't
clues
alive. You weren't even a thought yet, Mr. Blackwell.
Freaking Mookie Wilson with the grounder.
Yeah, no, because I feel like if I was to have said it had to do with the Boston Red Sox, somebody would have put the 2 and 2 together with Buckner and been like, okay, the '86 Mets, especially after I said they won the championship. So that's why I was like, I
feel
don't
you. I get it, and
That's fair.
cool. That I get it. I'm not mad at it. It caught me by surprise.
Yeah, me too. I didn't see that one coming.
But
well,
I think that's a good way to end the show, boys. As always, it's great talking sports with you. It's been a long 2 hours. Can't wait to talk with you guys next week. We'll see what the world of sports has for us. For all you out there who actually do listen, we appreciate it. We love y'all. For those who don't listen, fuck you. We hate you. Go step on a Lego. I hope you boys have a good night. And Ian, send them off with your typical outing. Let's hear it.
sorry, what was that?
Good night, Canada.
I knew exactly what you're talking about. Go Ole Miss, huh? Hey, Kentucky. Good night, Canada, huh? all right, everybody. We fuck all of you if you don't listen to our show. By the way, all right.